Okay, so what we're going to do here is use the Khan Academy link. That's the button down here. When you click it, it will take you to open up khanacademy.org, and you'll see a sign in here, right? And what you need to do is go ahead and sign in with Google. You don't want to create new accounts or anything else. You're going to sign in with Google. And it's going to pop up and ask you for permission to, let Khan Academy access your Google account. I'd recommend you click right here where it says remember this approval for the next 30 days and say allow. And then when you select allow there, it'll take you to your dashboard. Now, it's going to ask you to probably take, it's going to give you some instructions like, hey, sign in here. Now let's explore. What I do is just skip that for now. It is going to give you a chance to select a current mission or to actually take a pre-assessment for the world of math, but you're not going to work in the whole world of math right now. You would probably change that. You could click here at some point and change that to geometry. Okay, and you're going to go into geometry as the mission that you're going to be working on in here. But what you're going to do is actually we're going to come over here where it says coaches. Okay, and down here where it says add a coach, that's where I want you to put in a special class code I'm going to give you. So that class code is N4G6HN. That's for my summer school geometry class. If you're watching this as part of a different class, you'll need to get a different class code. But you could just type in N4G6HN. You're going to put that in here. N4G6HN and hit join the class. And when you get done, you should see that I am your coach here, Dan Tamander, right there at casualschools.org. So, now that you're in that class, I will have access to your data. And this is good for you because if you do work and we want to prove that you did the work, I will be, as your coach, able to see that you've done your work. So now what we're going to do is go back. If you click on Learn and you come down here where it says Math, and you go down there where it says Geometry, you're going to find that this is laid out like a geometry textbook. Okay. The only problem is it's not directly aligned to the Common Core, but there's a lot of things in here that are critical, and they are all the time making Common Core related activities and exercises. So the first one that you'll see is recognizing rays, lines, and segments, and that's under this Introduction to Euclidean Geometry. And you should feel free to watch these videos. This right here, these videos, language and notation, lines, segments, and rays, those videos are probably 5 to 8 minutes long. They're not very long, but they will help you to get through the exercise. And when you click on the exercise here, you'll see the videos right before are the ones to prepare you for it. And now it's asking you to identify which of these are rays. So in my case, I can see that a ray has an initial point and then goes forever in one direction. This would look like a segment. It has endpoints. It doesn't look like that it just starts at one point and goes forever in one direction. This one right here looks to be a line. 2 points, but the arrows indicate to me that it goes forever in both directions. So that would not be a ray, but this one looks like a ray. It has an initial point and goes forward in one direction only. And here's another ray. An initial point goes forward in one direction only. So I'm going to say A and B, not C or D, and E also looks like a segment. I'm just going to say A or B. I can put my answer in over here and click Check Answer. It tells me I got it correct. So I want you to do this exercise here. It's called Recognizing Rays, Lines, and Line Segments. After you do that, you can practice with this exercise. It's called Drawing Lines. So this one is really straightforward. All you're really doing is you're going to bring the dots until you have connected them. It says drag the lines. Oh, we better read the instructions. Drag the lines so one line goes through points A and D. So we'll put this point on D, A, D. And the other line goes through B and C. So this is really pretty elementary geometry stuff, and you should be able to do it. And these lines, these are lines because do they have any endpoints? No, they have 0 endpoints. They continue forever in 2 directions. I'll check my answer there. Notice that the objective is for you to get 5 correct in a row. So you would be doing this and then selecting correct next question and work on this together as you go through these 5 here. So you're going to do recognizing raised lines and segments until it's practiced. When it's practiced, it'll look like this. When you've started, it'll look like this until you have it done. Then when you come down here where it says points, lines, and planes, okay, I want you to work through this exercise as well. Points, lines, and planes. You're going to get 3 correct in a row. So here it says, what is another way to name line L? Well, line L, there it is. Lowercase script L, right? Lowercase script L is this line I can see. Okay. First I thought it was that point L for a second. That threw me off. Okay, lowercase script line, or lowercase script L is this line right here. So what could we name it? Well, we could name it KLC. It could be named KLC. It could be named KL. And usually for a line is defined by 2 points, not 3 points typically, just 2 points. So we see KL is this line. That's a better answer than KLC, which is all 3 points. XC would be some line that starts here at X and goes through C, so that's not going to work. Point C is not enough to define a line. And KC, that would look like a line, but now we see this little note here. This is a segment. This says segment KC. Notice it does not have the arrows on the end, so this is not line KC. This is segment KC. You kind of got to be really careful and know your notation. So I'm going to say line KL. That's my answer. It's another way to name line L. And check my answer here. I've got 1 correct in a row, and then I could keep going. Now, if I don't understand these notations and things, I can show hints, and I can, if I get stuck, I can watch a video. But if I show hints, what's going to happen is it's not going to count as right, and I'll have to do more practice until I get it correct. Okay, so you're going to work on that one, and you're going to work on these definitions. This is really, really, really important. You have some kid, Duru, Oliver, and Carlos. They've made a definition, and we're going to figure out who is correct and who's not correct. So the teacher has said, this is the response to him. So over here it says Duru's definition. A line segment is a line connecting two endpoints. Yes, it is true. It connects two endpoints. A line array would also fit your definition. Oh boy. I think this one here where it says what you've written is true, but it isn't a correct definition, probably would fit here. See, a line segment is part of a line, but it's not the whole thing, and that's true. But array is also would fit this definition, because array would be part of a line and not the whole thing. So this is not clear enough what Carlos has said about a line segment. It says a line segment is when 3 points are all on the same line. Well, guess what? That is probably what we're talking about there is collinear, being collinear when points are on the same line. We're talking about things being on the same line. And here it says a line segment is a line connecting two endpoints. That's correct, but you got to be careful because a line segment is not a line. So that's why it says you need to be careful with your language. It is a part of a line that connects, and it's the part between two endpoints, right? So it's not actually a line connecting two endpoints, but it is a part of a line. So you got to kind of be careful with your language. So you'll want to check there and make sure that you know your definitions well. And this is a great exercise that I want you to do. Okay? All right, the next thing we're going to do is when you have this done correctly, you need to document it and put it into your publish it in your LiveBinder, and you're going to do that by a screenshot. So we're going to go here and go. Let me show you how you get into your store. So you remember when you start out in your Chromebook, if you hit the apps button, you're going to find the store, and if you click on the store, it'll bring up your apps. Your apps. I'm going to click on store now, and you'll see what the store looks like. Okay. So the app I want you to find is called Awesome Screenshot. So you would type AWESOME, Awesome Screenshot, Capture and Annotate. Okay, And as soon as you start typing it, this should come up, and you just click on that. And it's going to find that there is awesome screenshot capture and annotate. You can see it's highly rated. It comes from Digo. We like it a lot. I already have it installed, but you're going to have a blue plus free here. You're going to have plus free. So you're going to click on the plus free part, and then it's going to ask you for some permissions, and you give it permissions. And when you're done, you're going to wait, and when you're done, it's going to show up as this little button right here with this icon. It's the awesome screenshot button. Okay, so how do you use it once it's up? Well, I want to prove that I got 5 correct in a row. So I'd wait until I've got 5 correct in a row on this. I would go and select awesome screenshot. I would say, let me capture the selected area. So I don't need the whole page, right? But I want the part that tells me what the exercise was. I want the part that shows my name, and I want the part that shows I got 5 correct in a row. So I would just kind of highlight like this to show that I've got my name, I've got this part where my name is, I've got this part where it says geometric definitions, the title of the exercise, and the part that shows how many in a row I've got correct. And I select capture. And that'll open up a new tab. And then in here I can add in some text, and I can say, this is my, oh, that's an ugly color, man. Maybe we have to change that color. But anyway, this is my evidence that I completed the exercise, or that I practiced the exercise. We're going to say practice the exercise. Now, what happens is practice means you got at least 5 correct in a row. It doesn't mean that you've mastered it, because you could come back in a week and kind of forget. So you're going to want to kind of work on these things in Khan Academy until you definitely have 5 correct in a row. I'm going to show you there's the arrow tool. I'm going to show you that you can highlight. If you're ever taking pictures of things and you don't, and it has maybe like, you know, a little bit in the picture that you don't want people to see, you can like use that smudge tool, and you could smudge it out so people can't see. You know, if there's anything private that you want to publish. This up here's the crop, there to make a rectangle, draw a line, make a freehand line, or whatever you want. Okay, when you're done, you say done, and you have this image here. You can copy it to clipboard. You can right mouse click on it and hit copy. And then you can go to your drive, into your document, wherever you have your document, okay, and you can Control V. Control V pastes it. That's holding down Control and pressing V. And now I've got my document in. I've got this image inside my document. And notice that if I need to, I can rotate my image inside my document. I don't want to do that. I'm going to undo that. I could change the size of it as needed, but basically I could put this. Now, where would I want to put it? Well, I'd put it in my journal like we talked about before, but I'd also want to put it in a document that's called Adventure 3, and then I would say publish it into my binder under a tab called Adventure 3. So that's pretty much what you want to do. Now, the last thing I just show you, so we learned about Khan Academy. It's a great place to go, but there's sometimes a concept that maybe you wouldn't know. So I want to teach you about just another good website, and this one's called Math is Fun, and this just has you know, some different ways of explaining some things. Some kids prefer to read like you're reading in a textbook. You can go to geometry when you're in Math is Fun, and you can learn about all kinds of things in geometry. You can also do a search, right? So if you want to learn something in geometry like the law of cosines, you know, and that is well done, believe me, very, very well done on Khan Academy. But if you want to kind of read it out, I also like this format as a second format you could use, where you can learn about the law of cosines, also called the cosine rule, and see some examples of it. And it kind of takes you through it in a really nice way. So I would just encourage you to learn about Math is Fun. Find out some of the other websites that are out there. There's one called Purple Math I really like. It's good. Plenty of good math websites you should start to learn about and use to teach yourself some of these concepts.